Boom, 1029. Who's this?
It's your boy Warren G.
Yo, what up, though?
Hey, what's up, man?
West Coast checking in. What's up, sir?
Man, I'm just chilling out here on the West Coast. You know, it's Grammy week.
Yeah.
Just out here just grinding, man, working hard in the studio and getting out to some of these parties, networking with all my friends and family, man.
You got some new music? You say you in the studio, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm in the studio. I'm working on my soundtrack to my documentary.
Yes.
I got a documentary just got submitted into South by Southwest, so that's pretty huge. And it's going to be premiered out there, I think 3 days out of that week, you know, so that's real huge, and I'm working on the soundtrack to that. It's going to be a lot of good people on there, even some people from out there, too.
Talk about on the rapping tip or on the producing tip?
On the rap tip.
Okay.
Yeah, on the rap tip. Production-wise, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Can't mention the names yet, but it's going to be a lot of great artists on there, man. And it's not just about me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be more like how we did the Chronic. I'm not going to rap all over it a whole bunch of times, but you will get, your records from me.
Yeah,
but a lot of the other records is going to be, a lot of people everybody know. And it's going to be big, man. The documentary is off the chain, and it's going to really let people know what it is that I've done for hip-hop on the West Coast and for the hip-hop culture, period, from no matter where you're from. Man, and I can't wait for everybody to see it. It's called G-Funk. That's the name of it. And it's going to really, 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 really be a nice movie for everybody to really check out, and they're going to get a great understanding about Warren G. And, a lot of the hip-hop, the West Coast, what G-Funk did for West Coast hip-hop and the hip-hop culture.
Man, G-Funk was major for the West Coast, man. And I wasn't even on the West Coast at the time. I was growing up, just loving hip-hop, and was a big follower of everything West Coast, and so I can't wait to see that. Now, you got somebody big filming it? Who's filming it?
Well, I put my trust in a young cat by the name of Karam Gill, a real young up-and-coming director.
He's on the West Coast as well?
Yes. I just trusted him. It's a lot of guys that I gave opportunity like that, and they're huge now, like Paul Hunter.
Yeah.
He's another guy who I gave his first job. Back in the day, he did some videos for me, and I kept working with him. And now he's one of the biggest guys, period, in the film and TV world, doing commercials and movies.
Wow.
So I give people shots like that.
Well, that's big because it's a lot of times these young cats and up-and-comers that they have hot stuff, hot beats or hot production or hot photographer or whatever, and don't get any opportunity because, as people kind of get to that level, they kind of go with it. Well, we got to go with this name or that name. I'll give you another example. Ludacris is real big about doing stuff like that. I noticed on a lot of his albums, he'll go with a lot of producers that nobody ever heard of, on most of his album. And like you said, opening that door so that they can be on these big levels, almost like passing the torch kind of thing.
Right. And that's what I'm about, man. I ain't never, a person who, wouldn't protect some talent in and wouldn't let it get out there. I want anybody I deal with, I want them to be huge because I'm going to look bigger at the same time.
That's right. A lot of people have that mentality of if you get big or get bigger than me, you're going to outshine. And, I don't want that.
I want everybody to outshine me that I put on.
Because it only helps build you up. I mean, at the same time, the karma kind of reciprocates itself.
For real.
Listen. One of my favorite songs in the entire world, which is in this mix today, is my mix, my lunch and hip hop mix. I'm doing an hour of West Coast. So, I got my Snoop in there. I got you in there, some Nate Dogg, R.I.P. to my brother.
Yes, indeed.
And one of these songs that I like has really influenced me over the years, and it's called Regulate.
Oh, yeah.
I hear Regulate has hit a couple numbers of platinum this year.
Yeah, it just certified double platinum in 2017 in January.
Double. For those that don't know what double platinum mean, can you please enlighten them?
2 million records sold.
And it's not a lot of people doing that in 2017.
Not at all, especially in hip hop. And the new school artists ain't even doing that.
Wow. Well, first of all, sir, congratulations. That is amazing. Wow.
Thanks, man. Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that. When you guys was in the studio, you got the Michael McDonald sample, great sample, by the way.
Thanks.
Y'all made the record. Did y'all know how powerful that record would be?
No. Not at all, man. Actually, we did that in my apartment, you know.
Really?
I did the beat, put it together, and I called Nate over, and I told him, I said, man, let's do a record together where we're going back and forth.
Okay.
And he came over, and we knocked it down, but we knew it was a great record, and it was different.
Right.
And but we didn't know it would carry on this long, man. It turned out to be one of the biggest singles ever in hip-hop and in music, too. So it's really, really a blessing, man. And I'm just happy that it's like it started over again.
How old is Regulate right now?
Regulate is, I think, about 21 or 22 years old.
Wow. And this cat's putting out songs that, you know, after a year might not even be heard of anymore.
Right. You know.
Warren, what did you make since, you know, Regulate? You made the track, produced it, correct? Mm-hmm. What did you produce it on? I got to know. What hardware were you working with? Because there wasn't no computer then.
No, I had an MPC 60. I still got the same MP, too. I still got it.
Wow.
I still have it. You know, and actually that's the same MPC 60 that we used on the Chronic, too.
Wow.
So I still got it, man.
You can never get rid of that unless you give it to me, sir. I was going to let you know that now. Unless you're going to hand that down to your boy, you can never get rid of that. Wow.
Oh, yeah. That's the same MP that was used on the Chronic.
Wow. And you know what? It probably still got some banging sounds in there that you can use right now.
Well, I still got a lot of the disc and everything. I got all that stuff.
That's right. Because what was it on then? A zip disc or a floppy?
Yep, zip. Not it. I mean, well, you could. It was floppy at first.
Yep.
And then they made it to where you could connect the
zip thing.
Zip drive up to it.
I remember.
Too. So,
wow.
You know, you got to take them up far rat, and he had to hook them up where you could do the zip drive.
That's history right there, brother. That's crazy. Oh, yeah. And still got it. Still, when the last time you cut it on?
Man, I ain't cut that thing on in a while. It's been a minute. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, man. Well, yo, first of all, man, you know, I'm trying my best not to fan out because I am a big fan, but you a real brother. Like, I want to say, you a real mother, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I appreciate you calling up and just being chill, man. You know, a lot of times you run into cats that are so historic and so influential and important to the game.
Yeah.
There's some new cats that don't even have as much influence and relevancy as far as history goes, and you can't even barely talk to them cats, man.
Yeah, I mean, it gets like that, you know, and then like you say, some of the, you know, well, I heard some, I forgot who that was that said that, you know, you'll hear one of these cats for 1 second, boom, the record sell, you know, 200,000 or 300,000, 500,000, and boom, they gone. They done. No more. And that's been going on a lot. You know, and then, you know, the guys I see, you know, some of them, you know, they really be cool, you know, and then, like you said, some of them be having their nose up in the air.
Yeah.
And don't respect the game and don't understand that I'm going to always be here. You going to come and go, I'm going to be here.
It's a lot of microwave art. Social media, you know, it's a gift and a curse. It allows you to not have to go through the process that, you know, you guys went through and had to go through as far as artist development and grooming. It's just, hey, I got a hot, something that sounds good right now. Let's put it out. It ain't even got to be mixed down and mastered barely, you know, where... You know, there was a point where that would never fly. You know, you had to go through. I started off wanting to be a rapper. My brother, you know, rest in peace, he was a rapper, and naturally I kind of fell into it. So I'm a big hip hop fan, writing, producing, and whatnot. So we were a part of that culture. That was, for me, would be, you know, late 80s and the 90s where I was pursuing it. When I would see you guys on video, I'll be pursuing it. And it was just a different thing. You know, you didn't have an instant way to put your music out to a bunch of people at one time and get an instant gratification. You had to work at it, make it sound good, get it at least a good mix down before you even let anybody hear it. And then you had to go through the process of making sure that thing copywritten. It was just a lot more pride that you had to put into it and time you had to put into it versus now anybody with a laptop and, you know, some sounds can potentially put out something that quote unquote will be a hit for the moment. It's just not. It's not what it is. You know, they go through no kind of training, no development, no nothing.
No substance, man.
None.
It's a trip, but, you know, if they ever stop the, you know, get it to where people can't just download and do all, you know, piracy and all that stuff, if they ever get to that again, it's going to empty out.
It's over. It's going to hurt a lot of feelings.
To empty out.
Listen, man, again, I really, really appreciate you taking a little time talking to your boy and calling me up for my show. You know what I'm saying?
Good,
I mean, it's an honor, brother. It's an honor.
That's all good. Yes, indeed.
Warren G, man, listen, I really appreciate you calling me up and checking in for Lunch and Hip Hop, brother. It has been a true, honest to God, honor to talk to you, my brother.
Well, man, anytime, man. Anytime. You could call me anytime, whenever you want, man. I'm always down.
All right. Thank you, Brick, brother.
All right, later.